to the Pastor Chira Show. I'm Pastor Chira, and today we launch. We launch into new territory, we launch into mindset, and we launch into new relationship. Today, we launch into new. Are you ready? Are you ready for your new? Are you ready? Come on, launch out with me as we go on this journey. So, I don't know if you've ever had this thought, but I came to this place in time where I said, I think I'm not, but I really am. And it was a time when things just seemed to be happening, and I had to look at me to see me different. And I don't know if you've ever had that opportunity, but that's the journey that we're going to go on. We're going to start looking at ourselves to see ourselves differently. So, today, our topic is I think I'm not, but I really am beautiful. And so, I had this talk with a good sister of mine, good sister of mine. And I want to bring her in on this conversation about being beautiful. And this is Minister Vashti Gray, and she is in Nashua, New Hampshire, and she's been there for a few years now, and she's there with her family. But I'm not going to tell you about her. I'm going to bring her in so she can tell you about herself. Hi, Minister Gray. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation about beautiful. But before we go there, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, as Pastor has said, I am Minister Gray. I reside in Nashua, New Hampshire. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I have moved my family here. I love what I do. I love being able to help people and to serve people. But more importantly, I love being able to do what God has for me to do. And honestly, sometimes it's not easy, but it's definitely always worth it. So, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. And that's a beautiful story. It is absolutely beautiful. But, let's get into this talk. So, we talk about beauty and being beautiful. And so, what comes to mind for you when you hear the word beautiful?
So, we can be deep and say that it's an inward thing, but the reality is it's an outward thing.
Hmm.
People don't see your heart. They don't see, how much you care when they see you. For me, and it's interesting that we, chose this topic for today because it's a very difficult conversation for me.
Hmm.
Looking at me, it's not a secret that there is something going on with my face.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know, I had surgery, I had a tumor removed, and it caused me to have no movement, no nerve on one side of my face.
Mm-hmm.
So I have become accustomed to it. But when I look in a mirror or I look at people, it's a stare. So I know that they see it, they notice it. You can't help but see it. It's my face.
Mm-hmm.
It caused me a multiple setbacks. So at one point in my life, I just thought I was beautiful. Beauty is, you get your hair done, you get your nails done, you put on nice clothing and nice jewelry and put on your smell goods and you go outside and people say, "Oh, you're so cute," or "Oh, you're beautiful," or "Oh, you look so nice." It helps our self-esteem.
Right. Right.
But I get to look up in the mirror and wake up every day and see a crooked face.
Mm.
That took me back. So when I had this surgery, I didn't want to go outside.
Mm.
I didn't want to be seen. And I had my sisters, and you, of course, are one of them, that was like, "There's nothing wrong with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, you have to say that because you love me."
We don't
But
have
the
to, but
reality
we do.
is, But the reality is, I also have a child who was young and she was afraid of me when
Ooh.
I came out of therapy and I went back home. She became accustomed to it, but it was something she had to get used to, just like it was something I had to get used to. So when I think about beauty, I think about what do I see
Mm.
when I look at people. So looking in this camera, looking at you, you are beautiful. Your skin is flawless. Your makeup is laid. Your hair is laid. You are absolutely stunning. But when I see me, I don't see that.
Mm.
So beauty truly is in the eyes of the beholder. And I say I don't because it takes time. It takes days, it takes months, it takes years to get to a point where I can look in the mirror and say, you know what? I am beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me to get there, it took me going to the Word.
Okay.
Only God could do that.
Right.
Because in my flesh, I can't. And I know that's not a word that we like to use.
Right.
But the reality is, it's very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm. To
So I
see
had to
it.
go to God, and I absolutely, absolutely, and I had to go to God, and I said, you already knew how I felt about me.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a relationship with your daddy,
Right.
you can have a conversation like that.
Right. Right.
You already knew. You knew how I felt. You knew I was tall. You knew I was overweight, and now you have allowed this to happen to mess up my face. Really?
Right. Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
did I do something? Is Jesus mad at me? For real. But
Right.
he showed
No,
me that
it's real.
I am the example of what true beauty is. It has nothing to do with the outside of a person. We as people use it for that. And if you look at television, that's all you see. If you look at billboards, that's all you
Yes.
see. If you look at social media, that's all you see. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not what it is.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's what society thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be comfortable in my skin. I
Mm-hmm.
had to know that I was fearfully and wonderfully made. I
Mm-hmm.
had to know that I am virtuous. I had to know that I'm the head and not the tail. I had to
Mm-hmm.
know and live. I'm a king's kid.
Right.
I can't help but be beautiful.
Right.
I had to change my mentality. I had to look past what I saw
Yes.
and trust in what God called me to be, told me I was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me I ain't cute.
Not a day.
Not one, not a one.
Not a one.
Purple
Right.
hair and all.
Right.
Cute as I
Exactly.
want to be.
Right. But you know what? You made some phenomenal points, right? And it's funny because this can be a hard topic for me too, because there was a time, and there are still some times today, when I look in the mirror and I don't see beauty. When I look in the mirror and what's looking back at me is, I don't like it. I don't like what I see. I don't like who I see. I don't
Mm,
see that person as beautiful. I don't see that person as pretty. I don't see that person because I'm bringing down beautiful, right?
mhm,
So we go from beautiful to pretty to cute. I don't
mhm.
see that person. And even with putting on makeup and doing your hair and things like that, there's an outward beauty that we can
Right.
put on, right? So we
Yep.
can put all the
Yep.
makeup on in the world. But what protrudes from the inside out? Not the face that we show, but the spirit that shows through not just your face, but through your actions, through your
Absolutely.
talk, through your deeds.
Yep.
Is that the beauty that we're going for? Is that the beauty that we should be looking at? Not just the beauty of how we look, but the beauty from inside that God has placed in us. How
So
do we
you use
get
the word
there?
should.
Mm-hmm.
He used the word should. And I
Okay.
would agree with you that that is what we should be looking at, what we
Okay.
should be looking for. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in. So for those of us that are trying to get to that part, we want to see the person's heart. We don't want to judge a book by its cover. We don't
Right.
want to, make rash decisions. But we want to give people an opportunity to show their heart, to show their actions, to be able to see that beauty in them. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, sometimes we don't get that far.
Really?
Sometimes people don't show us those things
Mm-hmm.
because I think beauty also comes from relationship.
Okay.
You're not going to get to know a person's inside if you haven't taken the time to get to know them. Because every
True.
person is not
Mm-hmm.
going to let you past that wall. Some people have a wall up,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to let you get past it. They're not going to let you through there because that begins to come into intimate space where they
Right.
are safe,
Right.
and that requires them to let their guard down. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I don't think we get to see the real beauty in people because I think they're cautious
Hmm.
and they're trying to protect themselves from whatever. We live in a world, and I can only use me. I've been hurt, I've been
Mm-hmm.
disappointed, and I have walls that God is helping me chop down, tear down, destroy
Right.
because you miss things when you hide behind a wall. You're not
True.
able to receive, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also not able to give. And that's the part I think that you're trying to get to, especially with this topic. There is outward beauty, but there is an inward beauty that is just phenomenal. And we want to see that in people and we want them to see it in us.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't have the relationships, how do we do that?
So, is is it all the way about relationship though? Because there are some that we will never have a conversation with. There are some that we'll never be able to sit down and show ourselves to them, but we do walk by, right? And
That's
I
what I was
know
going to
that
say.
you and
Yep.
I have had conversations in where so we're leaving out of somewhere and we pass by someone and they turn or they stop or they give a smile or they say, "You have a beautiful spirit." You didn't say a word. You didn't do anything. But the God in you comes out. It shows by just your presence, by just you
hmm
being there. How how do we get to that place?
I think you just said it. It's the God in you.
Mm,
It's not something you're getting to. It's him coming through you.
mm,
But in that example, they're seeing your beauty. You're not seeing theirs.
true. That is true.
So in that, we might not have a sit down conversation, but
Mm-hmm,
just passing by a person and saying good morning
mm-hmm,
or smile at them. That might be just what they needed. So they're seeing your beauty. They're
mm-hmm.
seeing the God in you because truly that's what the beauty is. It's his light shining through
Yes,
us for
yes,
somebody else to see and have
yes,
hope and try
yes.
to make it to the next day and have that encouragement. We may never see theirs, but they see ours.
But
But
they
then on
see
the flip side of that, we don't always have a good day either. So somebody may walk past us one day in the McDonald's
yours.
and they might wink at us and say, "Good morning." And you might say, "Wow, that's just what I needed."
Yep, yep. You know what? We're going to take a break real quick and go to a commercial, but I want to come back and dig a little deeper into this because we talked about the outward beauty, but I want to go a little bit deeper into how we allow the inward beauty to shine through the God in us showing through. So, let's take a break and we'll be right back.
can join us virtually or at the church located at 458 East Rittenhouse Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. So, Minister, so we're talking about we went into the inward beauty, right? Which shows in our outward appearance, right? So even when we don't see ourselves as beautiful, when we don't see ourselves in, I'm gonna say, in a good light, we don't see
Hmm.
ourselves in a good light. But God continues to show His beauty through us, even when we don't feel it, right? We might know that it's there, but not necessarily feel it. And has that been something that you have experienced or gone through, or how do you get through those times when it's not what I see, but it's what I feel? The beauty on the inside, like I'm not feeling that. How do I get to how do I get to that?
Um, in honest conversation,
An honest
I
conversation.
cry.
Okay.
I cry. Yes, because not feeling it hurts.
Mm,
It's not easy. It's not an easy place to be in when you don't feel beautiful on the inside. So, like the example you use, when you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I don't. I can put on all the makeup I want. I can get my hair done, and I just don't feel it. We don't feel it though because of something that's going on. So,
right.
for my personal experience, it can be stress. It can be heartache. It can be disappointment. It can be rejection. It can be a lot of emotional things,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also be mental things.
Mm.
Sometimes I've been told you think too much. So it can be me overanalyzing something
Right, right.
that's not as deep as I'm making it.
Right.
But whatever it is, it's causing us to be imbalanced.
Mm.
And that causes us to be upset. And
Mm-hmm.
and we have to figure out how to deal with that. So yeah, I cry.
Yeah.
I'm human. I cry.
Mm-hmm.
And my feelings get hurt. And I actually disappoint me sometimes.
Mm.
So in doing that and not feeling that beauty on the inside, I have to reach down and I have to get rid of self
Mm-hmm.
and I have to ask God to help me. Because if He doesn't, I'm not going to get any help.
Right.
If you don't help me, it's not going to work. If you don't
Right.
give me direction, it's not going to happen. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't, drop something in my spirit, bring a word, bring a song, bring a something that will help me be like David and encourage myself.
Right.
Help me,
Right. Help
because I
me.
know
Help
that
me.
He can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that He wants to. He's my father. He doesn't want me to be hurt. He doesn't want me to be upset. He doesn't want me to be unhappy. He wants the best for me. He gave His life for me to have life. So He
Right.
doesn't want that to be miserable. I don't believe that. And I ask for encouragement. I ask Him to help me because I'm hurting right now, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad right now, or even in prayer, I'm like, Daddy, I don't know which way to go.
Right.
And I don't know why I feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're helping me, can you show me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you show me why I feel this way?
Right.
Can you show me teach me what I'm supposed to learn? Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's a lesson in it.
Yes.
And I didn't do summer school in elementary school and high school. And I don't want to do summer school now either. I want to get it right the first time.
Yes. I want
And
to
we don't
pass
always
this
get.
test.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
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 I want it to truly be a testimony. And
Yes.
sometimes, that cliche, you get in testimony, you got to moan and go through the test.
Right.
I get it. But I want to go through it and I want to come out of it and I want to learn the lesson because I don't want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
I asked for help.
and that's good, but the cry too. The cry isn't always necessarily just the tears flowing and the wail or the ugly cry, right? Like woo,
Right,
like
right.
the real.
Yeah, right.
But the cry that comes from the inside, the wail that comes from the inside, the cry that our spirits do our spirits do to God, directly to Him, right? That
Girl, don't get
cry.
started. I be done shouted around in this chair. Oh, good.
That cry, right? That cry when our spirits are just
Whew.
down
Mm,
and and we're doing everything that we know to do in order to lift, but the
yes,
cry is so heavy,
yes, yes.
and and the reason for the cry is so heavy. Can you tell? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just you. Like, we've all been there
Yep.
where the cry is there, and
But it's cleansing.
it is. Yes, talk about that.
It is
Because it
cleansing.
is.
It
Mhm.
truly is. It that connection, and you definitely touched on it. That cry, that wail, that internal scream that you're
Mm.
trying to get out, because God is our Father, He knows exactly what that means. He knows why it's there. He knows how to remove it, how to ease it, how to heal it.
Mhm.
And He allows us to feel it so that we can get delivered.
Yeah.
We can move past it. When I say it's cleansing, it takes so much weight off. A
Yeah.
good cry releases so much stuff that we're carrying that we don't even know we're carrying.
Yes. Mhm.
We just feel weighted down
Mhm.
and we don't know why.
Mhm.
But God allows us to cry and He bottles up all of those tears. And oh my goodness, what an awesome aroma it is.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful thing. We see it as like, oh my goodness, why am I going through this? And why do I feel this way? And what did I do? It's not, it could be none of that. It could
Right.
be, but it could be none of that.
Right.
It could just be you need a cleansing.
Come on. Say that one more
And
time.
this is
You
how
need a
you need a
cleansing.
cleansing.
Mhm.
Yes. And we
Mhm.
need the water to flow. He
Come
said,
on.
out of us are rivers of living water. So we
Yes.
need the water to flow sometimes,
Mhm.
and it's going to come out at some point. It's going to come out some way. But he uses that flow to bless somebody else. It might not be anybody you know, but you could
Right.
be crying tears for somebody else on the other side of the world who needs somebody to intercede for them. You don't
That's
know
right.
why you crying. You don't know why you in pain, but God knows that that pain is for that person that's in a box in Iraq somewhere. You have
Right.
no idea.
Right.
So I just cry. I'm like, you know
Mhm.
what, Lord, I don't know who it's for, and I don't know why. If it's for me, thank you. If
Mhm.
it's for my family members, thank you. And if
Mhm.
it's for somebody I don't know, thank you.
Thank you. Mhm. Yep.
Because you've got a plan and you're using me as a vessel. And that's
Mhm.
something else. He chooses to use us even in our mess.
Right.
Because God knows I am nowhere near perfect.
Mhm.
But even in our mess, He uses us. And in all of what we're talking about, the beauty of every single thing of it, the beauty of the outward, the beauty of the inward, the beauty of the tears, the beauty of the hurt, the beauty of the cry, the beauty of the cleansing, it's all beautiful to
It's
Him.
all beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
see, I'm going to sit right here in this chair.
Woo! It's all beautiful
Whew.
because he brings it all together and it works for our good.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's
mm.
all
It's all
beautiful.
beautiful.
And all of it makes us beautiful because we're
Yep,
willing vessels to
yep.
do what he's called us to do and be
Yes,
who he's
yes.
called us to be. It's
Yes.
all beautiful. And even when we don't understand it, it's beautiful.
Yes.
But we have to get to the point, to your point, we have to get to the point to where, you know what? God, this isn't about me. This is about you. God, this isn't
Yes,
about
Lord.
me. This is
Yes,
about
Lord.
whoever this is for. I don't even know.
Yep.
It's not about me. But God, whatever you say, however you say, this is what it's going to be. Why?
Absolutely.
Because it's all beautiful. Because
Yep.
you make it beautiful. You made us beautiful.
Beautiful.
Outside and
Inside and
in.
out. Yep.
But it
And
has to
I got
come
the
from
outside thing down
within
pat. I got that. I got that
to
down
come
pat.
out. Say that one more time.
I got the outside part down pat.
Right.
Yep.
You got the inside part down
The
pat
inside
as
part
well.
is always a work. For me, the inside part is always a work in progress
But you know what? I
because
think it
we're
is for
always
all of us.
working on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why
Yeah.
that's why we're doing this, right? I think I'm not, but I really am.
Don't try to imitate anybody else. And don't pay attention to what's happening in the world, what the world says is beautiful. You know in your heart what God has called and said is beautiful. You are what God says you are. You are who God says you are. And He says that you are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are wonderfully made. And He doesn't make any mistakes.
He doesn't.
Believe that.
He doesn't. Minister Gray, I want to thank you for joining us in this conversation on today. I pray that God continues to show you your beauty. And I know it's a work in progress for all of us because He's continually shown me mine. And as we continue to go through, I believe that God is going to show us our beauty, but He's also going to show our beauty through us to others. I encourage you on
Amen.
today to keep being who you are and keep showing your beauty. So just know you are beautiful. I thank you for joining us today for the Pastor Chira Show. I pray that God has spoken to you during this time, and I look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of the Pastor Chira Show. Until then, be blessed.